All right, let's dive into something everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not everybody, but
It's everywhere, though.
you hear it everywhere, right? Vocal fry.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of creaky, sometimes loved, sometimes hated way of speaking.
Yeah, it's very polarizing.
We're going to try to understand it a little better today.
Mm.
We're dissecting a YouTube video essay by a linguistics expert.
Oh, cool.
And it's going to, I think, change the way you think about vocal fry.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's funny how vocal fry gets all the attention,
Right.
but the more accurate term
Okay.
is actually creaky voice.
Creaky voice.
And once we understand how it works, it'll make a lot more sense.
Okay, so hit me with the science.
Right.
How does this creaky voice even happen?
Well, think about your vocal cords,
Okay.
those tiny muscles that let you make all kinds of sounds.
Right.
When you use creaky voice, your vocal cords vibrate at a super low frequency.
Low frequency.
It creates that rough,
Yeah.
almost rattling quality.
Yeah. I'm picturing like almost like my vocal cords are like flapping around down there.
You're not far off.
Really?
The video actually shows slow motion footage
Oh, wow.
of the vocal cords during vocal fry. And it's pretty wild.
Interesting.
But what's really interesting is that despite the low pitch,
Yeah.
vocal fry creates a lot of energy,
Mm.
especially in the higher frequencies.
Oh, really?
You can actually see this in spectrograms,
Okay.
which are like,
I'm not really familiar with the spectrogram.
yeah, so they're basically visual representations of sound.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it shows that even though it sounds low, there's a lot of like
Oh, it's
high frequency.
So even though it sounds low, it packs a punch.
Exactly. It's like a sonic paradox.
That's really counterintuitive.
But that might be part of the reason why vocal fry is so effective.
Oh.
It cuts through the noise,
I see.
especially in crowded or chaotic environments.
So this is almost like an evolutionary adaptation
Yeah.
for the modern world.
It could.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe there's more to vocal fry than meets the ear.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of ears, let's talk about why some people seem to hate it so much.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know how everybody freaked out about Britney Spears' singing style back in the day?
Right.
Turns out vocal fry is just as harmless.
Yeah. There's this persistent myth that vocal fry is damaging to the vocal cords.
Mm.
But the expert in the video completely debunks that.
Interesting.
It's been used for decades without causing widespread vocal problems.
Right.
He actually compares it to those past fears about Britney Spears, how her voice survived just fine.
Yeah, I mean, she's still going strong.
She is.
So, okay, no need to worry about damaging our vocal cords.
Right.
But even if it's not physically harmful,
Mm-hmm.
there's still that whole perception thing. Like, some people just find it annoying, right?
Totally.
Remember that scene from the comedy series Loudermilk,
Yes.
where they completely roast vocal fry?
Oh, if
The one with the rant about teenagers and rich people
yeah.
using it to sound indifferent?
It's hilarious, but the video points out a great irony.
Oh, okay.
We just heard vocal fry used to express concern,
Mm-hmm.
give information,
Right.
even show enthusiasm.
Okay.
So clearly it's more versatile than just sounding blasé.
Hold on, I got to process this for a second.
Mhm.
So it's not about sounding cool.
Right.
It's about being understood.
It seems like it.
That's a lot deeper than I thought.
Yeah, it really highlights how much our perceptions of language are shaped by social factors.
Right.
And that brings us to a fascinating question.
Okay.
Why does vocal fry seem so prevalent
Mm-hmm.
among young American women?
Okay. Yeah.
Is it biology,
Right.
social pressure, or both?
All right, let's unpack that gender dynamic.
Yeah.
The video actually suggests
Okay.
women might be physically better at producing vocal fry
Interesting.
than men.
Okay.
Is that even possible?
It's a question even the linguistics expert in the video is pondering.
Really?
He admits he struggles to produce a good vocal fry despite his training.
Wow.
And there's even a comparison in the video
Okay.
of a man and a woman
Mm.
reading the Gettysburg Address.
Right.
The woman's vocal fry,
Yeah.
noticeably more prominent and acoustically distinct.
Wait, are you saying women are literally better at this?
It seems like it, yeah.
No wonder some people feel threatened.
Yeah,
It flips the power dynamic on its head.
it really does.
And that ties into another fascinating concept.
Yeah.
Sound symbolism.
Yes.
The idea that certain sounds carry inherent meanings.
Yeah.
The video suggests that because vocal fry is often used when relaxed or tired,
Mm-hmm.
it can come across as blasé or even like you think you know everything.
Right, like you're just kind of like,
Like, I am too cool for school.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know everything already.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I know everything already.
Okay, now things are getting really interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not just that young women use vocal fry,
Right.
but that it can unintentionally make them sound more confident?
Yeah. Or authoritative,
It could be.
especially in a world where they're often expected to be
Less assertive.
less assertive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And it's fascinating to think that this isn't like some new phenomenon.
Right.
Vocal fry has been around for ages,
Yeah.
and perceptions of it have really shifted over time.
Oh, I'm all ears when it comes to history.
Okay.
Give me the backstory.
Well, the video highlights how vocal fry was actually a common feature of received pronunciation.
Okay.
You know, that classic British accent back in the day.
Right.
We're talking like icons like Sean Connery as James Bond.
Oh, yeah.
Even C.S. Lewis, the author of the Chronicles of Narnia,
Yeah.
they used vocal fry extensively.
I've forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it wasn't seen as a big deal.
So something can go from being totally normal
Yeah.
to suddenly being labeled as unprofessional or annoying.
Yeah, it's wild.
It really shows how much social factors
Right.
and cultural norms shape our views on language.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's not just an English thing either.
Oh, okay.
The video mentions Finnish,
Right.
where vocal fry is super common,
Really?
almost a default way of speaking for many.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
That really challenges the idea that vocal fry is inherently
Right.
bad or unprofessional.
Yeah.
It seems like it's more about who's using it and in what context.
Yeah, that takes us back to the idea of sound symbolism.
Okay.
If vocal fry can convey authority or knowledge,
Right.
it makes sense that it might be perceived differently
Yeah.
depending on the speaker's gender, age, or social status.
So a young woman using vocal fry in a professional setting might be seen as trying to sound assertive,
Yeah.
which some people might see as stepping outside traditional gender roles.
Right.
But a man using it in the same setting might just be seen as being authoritative.
Precisely. And it's not just a theory.
Okay.
The video actually cites research
Oh, wow.
that found that people were more likely to rate vocal fry negatively when a woman used it,
Really?
especially a young woman.
That's pretty disheartening.
Yeah.
It seems like we're holding women to a different standard when it comes to their voices.
It seems like it.
It's a reminder that even something as simple as how we speak
Yeah.
can be loaded with social and cultural baggage.
It really underscores how important it is to be aware of our own biases
Right.
and how they might be shaping the way we hear things.
That's a good point.
But it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
if vocal fry is so common in other cultures and has been used by men throughout history,
Right.
why are young American women getting so much flack for it now?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Why does it feel like they're bearing the brunt of this backlash?
It's a complex issue, and researchers are still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
One theory is that it's connected to anxieties
Oh, okay.
about changing gender roles and female empowerment
Right.
as women gain more visibility and influence.
Yeah.
There's often a backlash against anything that challenges traditional norms.
So maybe some people are uncomfortable with women sounding assertive and confident,
Yeah.
and they're focusing on vocal fry as a way to express that discomfort.
It's a possibility. And the media often portrays vocal fry negatively,
Yeah.
which reinforces that stereotype of the annoying millennial woman,
Right.
further fueling the backlash.
It's like, we can't win.
Yeah.
You know, how women get criticized for using uptalk, which can make them sound less confident. But then if they use vocal fry,
Yeah.
they're seen as trying to be too assertive.
It's a classic double bind. But I think the video's point is that
Okay.
we need to look beyond these stereotypes and appreciate how complex vocal fry is
Right.
as a communication tool.
Yeah, it's not about labeling it as good or bad,
Right.
but understanding how it's being used and why
Exactly.
we as listeners need to be aware of our own biases
Right.
and how those biases might color our perceptions of others' voices.
Absolutely.
But the video also touched on something really intriguing. It suggested that vocal fry
Okay.
might actually be a sign of linguistic fluency.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
That was a fascinating finding.
Yeah.
The research showed that non-native English speakers who didn't use vocal fry were often perceived as being less fluent.
It really challenges the idea that vocal fry is just a random affectation or a sign of laziness.
Yeah, it suggests a deeper connection between vocal fry
Yeah.
and how our brains process language. It might even be a subtle cue that signals a speaker's command of the language.
So instead of being a sign of bad speaking, it could actually be a sign of good speaking.
It could be.
That totally changes the game. And if that's the case, trying to eliminate vocal fry might actually be doing a disservice to people who are still learning the nuances of a language.
Exactly.
It reminds us that language is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
And what some people perceive as incorrect or annoying today could actually be a sign of how language is adapting and growing.
It's a call for humility, really.
Right.
Language is complex.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't jump to conclusions about how others choose to express themselves.
Well said. This has been such a thought-provoking dive into the world of vocal fry.
It has been.
I feel like I have a completely new perspective.
It's amazing what we can learn when we take the time to really listen and explore the subtleties of language.
But you know, after all this talk about
Yeah.
the science and social dynamics of vocal fry,
Right.
I'm wondering if there's an even deeper meaning to it. Could vocal fry be more than just a way of speaking?
Okay.
Could it be a form of art or even rebellion?
It's a really interesting question.
Yeah.
And the video does touch on that idea
Yeah.
when it looks at how vocal fry can be used creatively, even subversively.
Okay.
Remember that clip where the woman
Yes.
used vocal fry to parody a stereotypical male voice,
I bet.
making it sound breathy and totally lacking female intuition?
Oh, yeah. That was brilliant. It really turned the tables on how we typically think about vocal fry.
Exactly. It showed how vocal fry can challenge gender norms
Right.
and upend expectations.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not just in comedy either.
Oh.
Think about singers and voice actors. They use vocal fry all the time
Oh, that's true.
to create unique characters and bring a whole range of emotions.
I never thought about it that way, but it makes sense. Vocal fry adds a certain something,
Right.
a texture,
Yeah.
or depth
Like a rasp.
to their voice,
Yeah.
just like any other vocal technique.
Right. And if we think of vocal fry as a tool
Yeah.
for artistic expression,
Okay.
then the negative reactions to it become even more interesting.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Is it possible that some people are uncomfortable with the idea of women using their voices
Yeah.
in such a powerful and unconventional way?
Right.
Especially given, that historical context we discussed, where vocal fry was perfectly fine when used by men,
Yeah.
but suddenly became a problem when young women started using it.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
It makes you think about how we perceive and value
Yeah.
different forms of expression.
Absolutely.
And it's a powerful reminder
Yeah.
that language is never neutral.
No.
It's always wrapped up in all these social and cultural meanings.
Right. This whole deep dive has really been eye-opening.
It has.
We've gone from the science of how vocal fry works to its social implications, its history,
You know,
even its potential as a form of art.
I feel like I've gained a whole new appreciation
Yeah.
for the power of the human voice and just how complicated communication can be.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It really is.
I think the biggest takeaway
Yeah.
is that we need to be more mindful of how we judge other people's voices.
Yeah.
Instead of dismissing vocal fry as annoying or unprofessional, we should try to understand what might be motivating it and appreciate all the different ways people express themselves.
Well said.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive into the world of vocal fry.
Oh, okay.
I hope you learned some fascinating things along the way.
Me too.
If you want to dig even deeper into this topic, be sure to check out that full YouTube video essay by Dr. Geoff Lindsey.
It's great.
It's packed with even more insights and examples.
Yeah.
We'll include a link in the show notes.
Perfect.
All right, until next time, happy listening.
And may your voice be heard in all its unique glory.